Hi, group hosts. We are in part two of our new future series with Pastor Nate, going through the books of Ezra, Nehemiah, and Haggai. And so this week we're looking at Nehemiah when he received bad news. And Pastor Nate was preaching about how to turn bad news into good news. And so the icebreaker question, just to start off, is what is an unfinished project you have been procrastinating with at home? What keeps you from getting to it? And then if you don't have a current one, you can think of one from the past. And so just a fun little icebreaker to get the discussion rolling. And then you can open with a short prayer and then read out loud Nehemiah 1 through 6 for the scripture. And this is where Nehemiah hears about a project from his home, of the wall that is still unfinished and broken down and in ruins. And so then the first observation question there is, how would you describe Nehemiah's response? And what does his response say about his relationship with God? So just take a moment to look over that passage. Just spend some time as a group talking about Nehemiah and the type of spiritual depth that he demonstrates here in this passage as he gets some bad news. The interpretation question says, do you tend to despair over what is, accept what is, or pray for what should be? And why do you think you tend to respond that way? So here's a moment for us to kind of square ourselves and our own pattern with Nehemiah and how he responded, and to begin to look at ourselves and talk about that and reflect about that. Then for the life application, we do have an optional sermon discussion clip where Pastor Nate is really talking about how the burden that Nehemiah had, it was the birthplace of vision for him. And as he released that burden, he was able to receive God's vision and now have something to go to work with. And it's a really powerful message there from Pastor Nate. And so you can watch that as a group, or then read this next part, which says, in his message, Pastor Nate shared 3 responses to bad news. 1, Nehemiah felt the emotion. 2, Nehemiah prayed about the news that bothered him. And then 3, Nehemiah released the burden and was ready to receive God's new vision. And so the question then is, which one speaks to you the most right now, and why? And what does it look like for you to live it out this week? And then after that, you can then close in prayer. There are some additional questions if you want to add some more to your discussion, especially if you have an in-person group. They're there for the bonus content, along with all the scripture verses from the message typed out there for you to see in the New Living Translation. So we hope you have some great Connect groups this week. God bless.